We built btwb to support independent gyms. These gym owners have unique journeys that led them to create incredible communities in their towns or cities all around the world. Spotlight is going to help tell these stories and celebrate these people. All right, Eric, man, I appreciate you making time this morning. You're coming from CrossFit Verve, right?
Yep, Denver, Colorado.
Scenic Denver, Colorado. We're going to get to your gym and brag on it, but what's the deal? You're in Denver, Colorado, but it looks like you got a Patriots hat on.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Massachusetts, and I moved out here in about 2009. And my original plan was I was going to just come out to Colorado for one ski season, and then I worked for Yahoo at the time, and I was going to continue on to California where their corporate office was. Long story short, I ended up meeting a guy that worked at a tech company up at one of the I met him up at one of the ski mountains, and he was hiring for a position very similar to what I was doing for Yahoo, and just kind of fell in love with the city and decided that it would be a good fit. And then, fast forward 2 years after that, I ended up being a coach at Verve when Matt, Cherie, Joylyn, and Moss owned it. And then in 2014, I purchased it with a business partner. And then she and I actually severed our partnership last year, I believe. So I'm now the full owner of Verve. So yeah, I did a complete 180. I went from advertising and technology to owning and running a gym.
That's pretty awesome. I've lived in Denver for about 3 years too. It is a great city. Where in Mass are you from?
So I grew up in a town called Wilmington, which is like 15 minutes north of Boston.
Okay.
It's like the forgotten little town between like Woburn, Billerica, Burlington, Reading. Those are all towns that people are kind of familiar with. And then Wilmington is like 4 exits off the highway that people just kind of drive past when they're heading up to New Hampshire. So
just some of the jewels of Massachusetts.
Yeah, totally.
I'm from Massachusetts as well, born and raised.
Oh, cool. What part are you from?
And I'd be shocked. It's a little nowhere town called Hanson.
Hanson. Okay, yeah.
It's right next to like Rockland, Brockton, Bridgewater, Braintree.
Okay.
That kind. You go to the Braintree Mall. That kind of.
Yeah. Well, so I went to school at Roger Williams, so I'm pretty sure, which is in Rhode Island. So I used to take 24. So I maybe have driven by your town a time or two.
Yeah, I went to Worcester State College.
Oh, cool.
Just good old Massachusetts. But yeah, that's cool.
Small world, man.
Yeah, small world for sure. So, we're reaching out to gym owners that are on btwb that are using the all-in-one. But I've actually been to Verve when I was at Denver a handful of times. Cool gym. It was always a cool gym. It was beautiful. It was huge. It had everything you need. But for people who don't know Verve, tell us a bit about it. And I haven't been there in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the vibe? Is it, everyone doing, is it a serious competitor gym? Do you have, a lot of older folks in there? Is it young? Like if somebody doesn't know Verve, what's the vibe?
Yeah, I think we cater to the 99%, not the 1% when it comes to competitive athletes. Our demographic ranges everywhere from like late teens, early 20s to high 70s. So any one of our classes, it's going to have a complete mix of people, all different fitness levels. And yeah, it's a very welcoming vibe. Like we consider ourselves one of the most welcoming gyms in the city. Like we want people to walk in and just kind of feel like it's their second home. Cause let's be honest, like most of the people that will watch or listen to this know that like you spend a lot of time at your CrossFit gym. Mm-hmm. Like besides like your home and maybe your office, the CrossFit gym is probably where you spend the majority of your time. So like we just have this vibe that when you walk in, it's just very welcoming. Everybody knows everybody. When I bring new people on board, I pretty much tell them like, give it about a week until you have been in classes and you will know every single person in the class that you're gonna come to every single day, just because we have such consistent members that are, they come to the same class all the time. And and our membership is, it's growing. We moved spaces probably since the last time you were there. We were in a probably like 6,500 square foot space, and now we're in close to 11,000.
Wow.
So yeah, we actually like were able to move the entire gym in like 2 days with the help of our members. And we've been in there since 16. So we've been in there going on about eight or 9 years now. And yeah, business is great. Like our members are really good. We have a very high retention rate. But yeah, like if people email us and ask us like, hey, I'm a competitor, this is what I'm looking to do. I always kind of point them in the direction of a different gym just because I don't want to promise them something that they're not going to get at our gym. But if you're just the person that wants to work out an hour a day, 4 to 7 times a week, come in and hang out with your friends, go get coffee or drinks after you work out. That's sort of the spot we are.
Man, I love that. Like 100%. I love that. And I hope gym owners hear that. I think that's really cool because I think some people are scared to tell people no.
Mm-hmm.
But in truth, like if you say yes to everybody, then what the heck's your identity? Like you
Right.
can't do all things to everyone. Like no, like we've got a group of people that we cater to. That's our niche. That's what we do really well, and
Mm-hmm.
we are proud of doing that. And so I think that's really cool because if you lie to somebody just to get them in and get another membership, they're going to figure out after a while that it's not what you said that it's going to be. Then they're going to leave and they're going to say, well, they're not great what they say. Like, you don't want that. Like, just shoot people straight. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, completely. And I always tell people, like, if you're just the type of person that wants to come in, pop your headphones in, do your workout, and then leave, like, there's way better solutions that are more cost effective for you.
Hit the
Go to
bricks,
24 Hour
pal.
Fitness. Yeah, like we want people that want to come in and be a part of our community, right? Like, doesn't matter how fit you are, like, we'll take care of that. It's just like we want people to come in and just kind of like be comfortable with the social aspect of the gym as well as sort of like the CrossFit side of the gym.
There are ways to tell a gym's vibe, and this is not scientific in any way, shape, or form. But my gut feeling is always like a gym's doing something right, in my humble opinion, if when you give me your list of members, you're like, we got people in their 70s too. That's really awesome as far as I'm concerned, because you're not going to have folks in their 70s unless your trainers are sharp and understand how to make things fit the needs of that population. And if everyone's just, uh, blaring death metal, screaming at the top of the lungs and just terrifying the 70-year-olds, like that's not going to be a welcoming. So if you've actually got people from their 20s to their 70s all throwing down together, something's probably being done right there. Is it safe to assume that those people in their 70s are pretty darn cool?
Yeah, they're great. They are, there's a handful of them that are super consistent. Usually they come to the 9 or the 11:30 every single day. Monday through Friday, they take the weekends off. But yeah, and they come to our social events. Like we just had our holiday party not too long ago. And, we had people that were in their early 20s and people in their, late 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s hanging out. So it's cool that like it doesn't matter really who you are or like, how old you are. It's just kind of one of those things where you feel like this is like a group of people that you have something in common with, and you can chill with them after workouts. And obviously, during class, all of our members are very, very nice and accommodating.
Now, you would assume that that's the goal for everybody, right? Like, who doesn't want a gym that's not welcoming, not accommodating? Culture's important and all that stuff. But it's one of those things where, as we're talking, that's the right thing to say. And I believe you. But I guess my question is, it's one of those things that's easy to say, but how would you explain to somebody, like, how do you create that culture?
Well, so to be completely honest, I always say like if somebody's a douchebag, they're going to weed themselves out pretty quickly at our gym. Like if it's somebody that has an attitude that is like,
Just too cool for school?
yeah, sort of like, they tell us, we want to do everything RX plus. And like, I want to, is it cool if I stay after and do this type of stuff? And it's like, most of the time we're pretty cool with that, but like you can figure out someone that's not going to gel well with the rest of our gym. And we just let it kind of like play out organically. Like,
Yeah.
I always tell people like not all memberships are worth the same amount of money just because, you may have someone that is a pain in the ass that you have to sort of cater to all the time.
Oh,
And
sure.
yeah, so that's kind of why I like to set expectations ahead of time, just being like, hey, this is the type of gym we are. If you're looking for more of a competitive style gym, here's a list of gyms in Denver that I think might be a better fit for you. But come check us out, work out a couple of classes with us, see if you dig it. If you do, great. If you don't, all right, at least you have a little sample size to kind of make a decision with. So
And how are you finding, I mean, 11,000 square feet in Denver, I assume they're just not giving that away for monthly rent. How do you find new members, or how do people find Verve?
So honestly, very organically, like word of mouth has been the number one way that we've attracted new people. Um, the the issue for us is that there are 4 CrossFit gyms within about a mile and a half of us. So the market is
Okay.
pretty saturated. So we try to differentiate ourselves by having really good coaching. Our classes are all structured. I always tell people, like, all you got to do is get here. Like, we
Mm,
have the entire hour scripted for you. We keep our place really nice and clean. Again, our members are the primary reason that people come and decide to stay is just because you kind of walk in and you start to talk to our members and you're like, yeah, these are people I can get along with, and there's no egos or anything like that. So but yeah, mainly it's just sort of word of mouth. We've tried doing a little bit of advertising, paid advertising. It hasn't been nearly as successful as we had hoped.
hmm.
We just kind of, we've been doing it since like 2009, so we just pretty much roll with it. Like, our members, and you know how it is. You're an OG CrossFitter. Like, when people start, they can't stop talking about it. So it's
Right,
almost you
right,
almost get to the point where you're like, all right, dude, shut up. I will come try this just so
right.
you stop talking to me about this. And that's usually all it takes is somebody comes in and then, they're laying on the floor after a workout or just kind of chilling out, mobilizing, talking to people, and they're like, yeah, this is like not nearly as intimidating as I thought. This is a very good fit for what, my sort of fitness and wellness goals are.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys offer both structured class and open gym, or am I wrong about that?
No, we do. So we have dedicated open gym hours every day, at least twice a day. And then we're pretty accommodating to our members. Like, for instance, if somebody comes in and they say, hey, I don't really feel like doing the class. Is it cool if I just go kind of hop on a row or in the back? So we always say just play nice in the sandbox. Like, come in, chat with the coaches, make sure that, you're not going to steal any equipment that they need for their warm up for the classes, because classes always take precedence.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, so we like, my rule is like, if the doors are open, you can come in and work out. So we
That's
open at
cool.
5:30 a.m. We shut down at 7:30 p.m. and we keep the gym open the entire day. And if we don't have classes going on, we have open gym.
And how popular for maybe for gym owners that are trying to decide whether or not they want to start to incorporate some open gym? What would be your advice to them? Because maybe some people feel like it's going to take away from the community feel. These people aren't getting coaching, or it could be just wonderful freedom. People have more options. What's been your experience? What would you tell other owners?
Well, honestly, like, our open gym hours are not that busy because I feel like people get the value from our classes. But then
Okay.
there are people that miss the workout that they really wanted to do, and they have to come in and kind of do it on their own, or they're organized like a group of people to come in and be like, hey, did anybody else miss Saturday's workout? Anybody want to do it? And then
Mm.
they'll kind of find an open gym time that works, and everybody will kind of come in and do it. I mean, we have a handful of people that are like straight up OG open gym members. That's their thing, and that's totally fine with us. Like, we know every day at 10 a.m. these people are going to be there and they're going to do their thing, and they may not even take our classes, but they've been members with us for like 12 years.
Hmm.
So, and I think that's another really powerful thing about Verve is that we have members that have been with us for 12, 13, 14 years, so the consistency and like the stickiness of our gym is pretty powerful, just because we don't have that high of a turnover rate. The only time we really have a turnover is if somebody moves out of the area.
Yeah, that's great. If you're developing that sort of loyalty amongst your base and in the community, that speaks to it. So safe to say, some people have this overly romanticized view of owning a gym, right? I love
Yeah.
to work out. I'm going to own a gym. It's going to be just wonderful. It's just kind of easy. Open the doors,
Mhm.
everyone shows up, and it's like, man, I don't
No,
think most people, see how the sausage is made, right? I mean, there's so much work
totally.
that goes on behind the scenes, and
Honestly, when people ask me what I do, I tell them I'm the janitor that owns a gym, because the amount of hours I spend cleaning our place and keeping it nice and clean, just so there's sort of like that wow factor when you walk in, like, because back in the day when we used to do CrossFit in like 08, 2009, 2010, it was like grimy and gritty, and it was just like, throwing down in people's garages or bringing barbells to the park. And now it's like we've upped our game, right? So it's kind of
Mhm.
like people don't want to pay what CrossFit gym memberships cost if they're going to go work out in filth.
Right.
So we have to make sure that our space stays really clean and our equipment stays working. So yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time just kind of keeping the place looking good and sort of like customer relationships.
Mm.
But that's actually the part. That's actually the part of the that I really like about owning a gym. Like when I decided to leave my previous career, it was definitely a quality of life decision, not a like financially motivated decision. Because I knew like I wasn't going to break the bank on owning this gym, but I was going to enjoy like getting up every single day and going to work. And I mean, you can't do this for a long period of time if you don't enjoy it. Cause like getting up at 4:30 in the morning a lot is not something that everybody looks forward to, but yeah, it was such a good quality of life decision. And I like working for myself and I have all this free time. And I structure my schedule so like I could go snowboarding in the winter. Or I might be able to play golf during the summer. And
Nice.
it's a balance for sure, but it was definitely a good decision when I made it.
So, as somebody who's a busy gym owner, time is precious and you're looking to run the best business that you can, give people the best experience. What made you guys go towards BTWB and specifically the all-in-one, which has got the billing and workout tracking and payments and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I think the primary reason we decided to do it was because it was all in one singular app. We were using a different system to charge our memberships to have people sign up for classes, and then we've always been with Beyond the Whiteboard for tracking capabilities. And we always told people like when you join, you get a free membership to Beyond the Whiteboard. All the workouts are in there. All you got to do is log your scores, and we really encourage people to make sure that they log their scores so we have that data to show them like, hey, you are getting fitter. Like
100%.
unless you have like an eidetic memory and you can remember everything. And a lot of people, came from like the workout logbooks, but there's no search functionality in those really. So like,
Right.
so we've always loved Beyond the Whiteboard as a tracking app. And then when they decided to go with this all-in-one system where they could take care of our memberships as well too, I, from a gym owner's perspective, was definitely on board just because it was one less getting rid of one of the apps was one less things that I had to manage. And like, people telling me, hey, I can't sign up for classes. My membership didn't go through. And it's like I had to deal with this company for that. And then we never really had any problems with Beyond the Whiteboard with regard to the tracking stuff. But yeah, so I think ease of operation for me was the number one selling point. And when we were deciding to transfer over, we made it very transparent to our members like, hey, this is a new system. There are going to be headaches. Like, just bear with us. If you can't sign up for class, it's not the end of the world. Just come and work out. We'll get everything ironed out. And our members are great. So they were totally accepting of that. And the feedback when we started using it was awesome because people could literally just open the app, hit the reserve button to get into the class, and then we purchase our programming from another company, and they actually upload all of that workouts into Beyond the Whiteboard for us. So our members can go in and like get a 2-week advanced look at like what we're going to be doing.
Nice.
And then, just entering your information is so simple. It's so user friendly, the app, with regard to like how to log stuff. So yeah, it was really kind of a no brainer. It was more cost effective too, which is always my concern, right? I have to monitor every single dollar that comes in, every single dollar that goes out to keep us open. So we ended up saving some money by getting rid of our old CRM platform and then deciding to use the Beyond the Whiteboard all-in-one platform.
Well, let's say somebody is, Denver's a wonderful town. People want to go there for a multitude of reasons. Let people know, like, how can they learn more about Verve on website or social media yourself? Like, promote away. Let's get some folks to Verve if they happen to be in Denver or traveling through.
Yeah, so like we kind of touched upon, our gym is very welcoming. Like we want anybody that wants to come work out. Doesn't matter your fitness level. We will scale and modify everything until you are comfortable. Like we always say, crawl, walk, run. Right when you walk into our gym, they can find us on Instagram. Our handle is at CrossFit Verve. Our website's CrossFitVerve.com. If they have any questions, we have a inquiry form they can fill out, or they can obviously reach us at our email, which is info@CrossFitVerve.com.
Very cool, man. Well, hey, Eric, I appreciate you sharing a bit about your gym. I appreciate you letting folks know about the all-in-one. And if I find myself in Denver, I'll see you at Verve.
Yeah, buddy. Open door policy. Come on by.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Pat.